Alrighty, here we go. Let's get this thing rocking. I'm gonna get my camera right here. Cool. All right, so let's begin. What's up, everybody? David with Social Expression. Um, Here on this Google Hangout, how to beat down social anxiety and boost your confidence. We're gonna boost your confidence. We're not going for. We'll go as big as you want, but let's go for a boost. How about that? Let's keep it on the smaller side today. Um, I was thinking about how, this journey's been for me and people I've worked with and people that email me and all these kinds of things. And when it comes down to it, with social anxiety, shyness, it's whatever it fucking takes. There's no one right way or approach. And I wish I could say that there was. I wish I could say CBT. I wish I could say positive thinking. I wish I could say mindfulness. I wish I could say it's whatever it takes. It's whatever works for you. Given that, I do have things that I feel have worked for me better depending on what I'm looking to create, achieve, not only in terms of results, but in terms of, out in the world, but how I feel, which is the main thing here, right? We want to feel better. We want to feel good. We want to feel connected. We want to feel comfortable in our own skin and able to connect with others very easily so we can have career success, work success, friends, women, dating, relationship, all that good stuff, right? And to not feel uninhibited, not to feel inhibited, and to feel free, fundamentally. So, I was out last night. I've kind of been on a stint of going out to the bars lately, and it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying going out to the bars and talking to people, being social, talking to men, talking to women, whatever. I'm unattached to the outcome, which I think is a really huge thing and a hard thing that just can sound like a bunch of frickin', psychological, spiritual speak. Oh, just be unattached, be unattached. Well, but I can't, David, or I can't. It's like I really want this, and the desire for it is what got you here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to beat this, if you didn't want to overcome this, if you didn't want to dissolve this, right? So desire to do this is natural and healthy, yet at the same time, our own desire can get in the way, especially when it comes to, I need to have this happen. And any neediness and all that just slows down progress. One of the biggest trappings, I think, is with this whole journey of handling this is sometimes the real lack of ability in people to take the pressure off, to get results, to take the pressure off themselves, to take the pressure off the system they're using, to take the pressure off the process, to be able to trust in the fact that it will happen sooner than later if you don't push it. Because we're pushing ourselves already with our thinking to create the anxiety. We're pushing, right? We're overwhelming our system. And it only happens within us. The anxiety doesn't happen out there. It doesn't happen because of XYZ person, XYZ situation. It only comes from the inside, projected out into our reality, which seems like, oh, this person here is being intimidating to me. They're not being intimidating. You're being intimidated by them because of your psychology, your thought process, your mindset, your state of mind, all these different ways to say this same thing, okay? And so at first, the first realization is to really fully do everything you can to see that. And it's in the language, it's in how we speak. It's like, wow, that guy really intimidated me. No, that's not how it works. It seems like that and it feels like that, but you're feeling your thought about it. You're not feeling the situation. We're not set up to feel the situation that way. And then the downline effects are we get anxious, we can't talk to somebody, we can't start a conversation, We can't be unaffected by somebody who is being quote unquote aggressive. And look, it happens to all of us. It happens to me. I'm not perfect, right? I got into a little bit of an argument with my buddy last night on something. And as I was doing it, as I was thinking he was wrong, I realized what I was doing, but I still was doing it. And eventually I just let it go. Because it really didn't matter. His perspective was valid, and I was trying to make my perspective more right in that sense. And the same goes with anything we experience. So when that attractive girl is across the room, and she's so hot, and she's so beautiful, and I want her. It's our own projection. She's not inherently beautiful. Seems like it. All of society could agree with you. But if you want to take it out of the matrix, so to speak, we have to look at how we do this everywhere too. And you can't only look at how you do this with social anxiety. You got to look how you do it everywhere to really get this stuff. You got to look how you do it when you wake up. You got to look how you do it when you go to the bathroom. You got to look when you're cooking your breakfast. What's the conversation going on? Oh, I just burnt the eggs. God, I have such bad luck. So let it be done. You're creating your reality right there. You're creating your experience. Okay? And sometimes it can be helpful to take it outside of social anxiety because it's so close to home. It's so close to home that it's hard to see this. But if we take it with something like cooking the eggs and burning them and saying, this stove is blah, 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 instead of, no, I burnt the eggs. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm creating it, right? I'm believing it to be true. And so that's what I get in my experience. And then that affects my results, my outcomes, and all that stuff down the line. One thing about confidence I want to address really quickly is, to me, confidence is relaxation. Confidence is comfortability more than anything. Yeah, there are forms. I guess we could say confidence is, there's so many different ways to say it, but right now that's how it's occurring to me. I just don't have, when we don't have a care in the world, sort of, and we're enjoying ourselves, like, why would we even consider, what it takes to being confident? There's feel the fear and do it anyway. That's confidence definition, which I would call courage. There's fearlessness, which is when you don't feel the fear, which is kind of what I'm talking about, when you relax, when you're comfortable. Everything's okay. There's nothing to really worry about except for the thought that I'm worrying about it, that I'm creating anxiety, that what if, future-based statements. And even, not only consciously, but they're happening, right? They happen so quick. The level of awareness that you currently have, you might be aware of some of it, very little of it, a lot of it, but it comes up in an emotional, energetic. It's just like, but you got to look because it's there. It's all there. It's all been shaped, conditioned in some way, and it can be unconditioned. Okay, or you can condition and shape yourself in the way that you want, and it takes work. It gets easier, but it takes work. So the fact that you showed up for this is awesome. It shows that you're committed to me and dedicated to doing the work. Yes, good. You need to give yourself a break and relax when it's too much, and you can't stop. You can't stop in terms of handling, removing the negative limiting beliefs, and learning to be more relaxed, present, comfortable, positive, socially positive, self-loving, self-trusting, self-knowing, all these things. I can go on and on and on, right, with all the great terms. Cool. So that's my little intro here, and I want to, open it up for the Q&A here and some coaching, and see how I can help you guys, see what we can do. So here's how I'd like to do it. I've got you muted, and unfortunately somebody came in, and I set the setting to At least I thought I set the setting to mute people as they came in, but I'm a rookie at this, so um, he left. He probably got freaked out. I can't blame him. So let's do that. What I'd like to do is put your, if you have a question, two options. You can type it in the chat and I'll answer it here because some people may be too nervous. And the other option is type in the chat, I have a question, and then I'll bring you online. I'll unmute you. Let me unmute you. And I'll unmute you so that we can converse and Q&A and coach. Cool. So who would like to go first? Please do jump in and encourage you to take action more than lay back. I encourage you to be the first one, which is the same thing when it comes to being social. I encourage people to act first, introduce themselves, say hi, say what's up, all that kind of stuff, especially when they're on the early stages of trying to be more social at work, wherever they want to be. So who'd like to go first? Either say, I'd like to go first, unmute me, or just type your question in. This reminds me of my calls. Okay, you didn't follow the instructions, but that's cool. I'll take it. Oh, good. Oh, good. Put it back in there. Put it back. Joining that we got a mute. Cool. Okay. I think we're good. You're good, James. He's awesome. Cool. Good question. Um, so, and I'm going to mute you here just because it sounds like there's a little background. Um, I did start with like CBT stuff, and that helped me. Um, and CBT books. I did some of Dr. Thomas Richard stuff. That helped kick me off. Then I did mindfulness, cognitive, behavioral stuff, and acceptance and commitment, which is a lot of what my Dissolve Social Anxiety course, which is now offline um, for reasons I'm not going to get into right now. But it's still good stuff. It's still awesome stuff. But that helped me even more. And then I let's say in the last year, I found something called the Three Principles by Sydney Banks, which helped me in my life tremendously in terms of not pushing myself so much. So I wouldn't say as much related to the social anxiety stuff, but I've started to incorporate that in my work because it's so powerful globally. And lately too, I've been a lot into positive thinking again. I really threw that away. So even similar to the stuff that Brent does, what's your story, how you creating it, is powerful stuff. I also find that when I'm working with people, I see a two-pronged thing approach: working on presence, working on being in the moment, and working on positive thinking, and like jogging between those two. So being aware, because what can happen, and what has even happened recently with one of my clients, is doing well with the positive thinking, crashed, tried the positive thinking, didn't work, and wants to throw it all out the window. And we have some adjustment to do with the positive thinking that can do it, but letting go, letting the thought go, being present, and there's different various ways to do that. But fundamentally, right, any approach or technique, we want to understand what's going on more than just it. The technique is always pointing to to me, to develop an understanding. So you just integrate it, and that's just how you are. You just know it, right? And so I'm going a little bit off topic, but I think it's important. And one thing that's really important is not to be too dependent on technique, because the technique doesn't work in every situation. We want to constantly develop our awareness and our understanding so we become it, right? We become the technique. We are it. Technique is just a tool to get us to understand more, to integrate. So whatever we're using, CBT, MCBT, ACT, 3 principles, positive thinking. If people like, I talked to a guy who likes EFT. I'm not so into doing this. It gives me zits. I'm not even kidding. I did it in the past. I tried all that stuff, like I'm sure a lot of you have. You know, and the positive thinking, the law of attraction stuff even, you got to find the right stuff, but that stuff is really, really crazy how it works. But you got to do it right. You really have to let go of the how and the outcome. Otherwise, it just constantly tells you what you don't have. So that stuff's tricky, and that's why I think learning to calm the mind, learning to relax, like I said, which is the basis of natural confidence. Like when you're a baby and you're like, like you've got nothing going on. You know, one of my clients just had a daughter, and he's like, she's so like, there's no thought going on, and I can just feel the love, and she calms him down, right? So it's just there. It's also there underneath already. So there's a way to look at shaping the self, but there's also a way to removing all the conditioning and letting arise what's naturally under there. And it's both. I think it's both, because we can feel more calm and peaceful and enjoy our experience of life. That's awesome, and that's great for anxiety. But if we want to shape things a little more and get a certain result, that's where the positive thinking comes in. And the positive thinking can help on that. But on this long journey of mine with this stuff, I would say that positive thinking, that's been the tougher one for me, and now I'm actually really starting to get it, and it's wonderful. But I really dismissed it for a long time, because if you don't do it, or if you're too far in the hole and you try to go too positive, you're just going to crash. You gotta step it up. So if somebody is like, hey, you know, this is so hard, overcoming social anxiety is hard, it's miserable, it's super difficult, to go, my life is wonderful, and it just feels like sugar over shit is what I call it, okay? Instead of, you know what, even though I feel like pretty miserable, I can see how it could get a little better. I can see how it can get better. But then you can step it up pretty quickly, and actually it's not as bad as I think. And actually, things are pretty good. And actually, you can step that up actually within minutes. But you've got to keep doing it, because it's going to keep bouncing, and you've got to keep raising your positivity up, your positive vibe. Okay? I think we lost James because he was on his phone. That's what happens on phones. So good question, James. Cool. Have some more questions coming in the chat, so I'll answer them here. We got one from John. David, how do you deal with those who are constantly critical? Good question. So again, like I said, when you're externalizing it, you have to start looking at it as something you're doing to cause them to be critical of you. Some way you're showing up. If you want to get your power back, if you want to give your power away and quote unquote play the victim, then how do I deal with? Because if I'm constantly focusing on, oh, who's critical, all these critical people, they're going to pop out of the woodwork, and I'm going to act in ways in alignment with that belief. Okay, so we have to start shifting that belief to something like, I accept myself, people accept me. Yeah, I make mistakes sometimes, but so what? Something like that. But here's the thing, is you've got to check internally what feels right for you. And so one thing is that, check out that belief, John. How does that feel? People are constantly critical. Check in and emotionally check how that feels, okay? My 99.999% guess is that feels like shit. That feels bad. That feels red, okay? That's because that's your system telling you, wrong belief. That's not a supportive belief of you, okay? So what you do is you start to tweak the language inside and go, what feels just a little bit better? What feels more green? What feels just a little bit more good? And I like to break it down into good and bad. You feel good, you feel bad. It's much simpler than jealousy, happiness, enjoyment, trying to tweak, get this specific emotion. Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Go towards feeling good. You can also work with letting that go and just going, what would it be if I removed that belief, if I didn't have that belief? That's a couple ways to address it. Okay. But again, fundamentally it comes down to right now, as you state this question, you're recalling that into your system, and you're recalling that if that's the reality, and so that's the reality that you live, that's the projection you live. Shift that, shift your reality, shift your experience, shift your feelings. Okay, and you've got to kind of keep going for it, if that makes sense. Cool? Cool. Good question, John. Sean. I've seen Sean before. He sent me some emails. What's up, Sean? I need help with blushing. Not on camera because my face would melt it. I would love to see. I'd actually love to see your face melt the camera. I guess in the certain reality that is possible. Again, we're gonna talk about, the blushing is coming from you feeling that if you get on camera, your face is gonna melt it. That's how I see it. So you're constantly reinforcing blushing. I used to actually blush. I used to blush about 10 years ago or so. I used to blush really easily. Then I stopped blushing less when I got more relaxed and calm. You've got to work on your relaxation and calmness. You've got to do things to relax and calm you, and you got to do it outside of just the blushing, because I'm going to guess you're pretty fired up and anxious most all the time. And the blushing is just a symptom of that. It's a physiological reaction to your thoughts and your emotional system going. Unless you're some kind of blusher when it gets hot, but that's not related to anxiety. That's different. Or that's more like a flusher. You're a flusher, not a blusher. If you get red in the face when it's hot. Okay? So you got to work on the mindset, buddy. All right? Like I said at the beginning of this call, I don't know if you're here, whatever it takes, whatever method that you have. Okay? Cool. Good question, Sean. We've got End Bullying. Oh, wow. That's a powerful screen name, End Bullying. Wow. How to get over SA, social anxiety, in front of your relatives, bullies at school. Okay, so I am also a lovingly direct person, so I'm going to tell you what I think. What I think is for your own benefit. So first of all, your screen name in bullying. I know what you're trying to achieve, but your constant focus is bullying, and that's what you're going to get. So I know that bullying is out there, but if you want to go in a more positive direction for yourself, it's just like you're all about bullying. And the mind doesn't process avoiding bullying. It sees bullying. It's like, don't think about pink elephants. You have to think about the pink elephant in order to think about not it. So but the mind doesn't process it on a base level. Okay. So I get it. And you probably have a heartfelt mission. But one way to end bullying is probably with love for all people. I'm just going to throw it out there. But if we see it as a fight, we're going to get fight and resistance in our world. So, and that's been my experience too. Just when I fight with myself, when I fight with my dad when he's not even here, when I had a little argument with my friend last night, and I was just like, whoa, man, I'm creating this whole thing right now for me. So if you want to get over, and then you said how to get over, and so in relation to the bullies at school, let me go there. It's the same thing. How are you projecting out and looking and trying to, you're spotting the bullies, right? Whereas somebody else might see the bully as a hurt and lost kid who had some pretty bad parenting probably, and probably has some real problems at home, which is how I see bullies now. I got bullied, quote unquote, sometimes, but transforming it in the past, I see those kids really had problems that I didn't. And yeah, they took it out on me, quote unquote. But actually, sometimes I stood up too. I remember standing up once to a bully that was bullying my friend, and he stood down. Now, I'm not saying to go around and stand up to every bully. I don't necessarily agree with that, because maybe you should give the bully a hug. Who knows? I had a friend once in New York who said some guy was freaking out and screaming. She just went up and hugged him, and the whole thing. I was just like, holy crap. That was before I had more awareness. I was like, you did what? You hugged this guy that was freaking out and he calmed down? Yeah. So anything's possible, okay? Anything's possible. And so for the other part of your question, how to get over social anxiety in front of your relatives, it's the same thing. Relatives, people on the street, whatever. And I know it can be really tough with relatives because it's close to home and we've got certain bonds and all that stuff. But you got to work on your mindset globally, everywhere. How you're doing it when you wake up in the morning, creating anticipatory anxiety, right? That's a big one. Social anxiety before there's people around is anticipatory anxiety. Got to work with the mind. Got to work with the mind constantly. Okay? So good question, man. And look, I know, you know, that was a little direct love. I'm just trying to see it, telling you from my perspective what I think would be most useful. Take it or leave it. You don't have to take anything that I say. You don't have to like it. Hopefully it helps you. You know, it's all suggestion in that sense. Okay? Cool. All right. So I think right now, I don't think, oh, we have one more question from Sean. Now that dissolve social anxiety is no more. Oh, and Billing says thanks. Thank you. Now dissolve social anxiety is no more. What's next? Do you have something in the pipeline? Why, yes, I do. Right now, I have, well, as far as a product type thing, program, I have Confidence Mastermind, which is for 6 men for 6 months. There's also a link. There should be a link somewhere here to that if you're interested in checking that out. It's by application only. I do the one-on-one coaching, of course, and those are, you know, they're an investment, I will say, not only of money but of time, energy, and effort for the level that I work and what I help people accomplish and achieve. I'm considering, I'll say, doing an online academy, but I'm not sure how and what kind of work is involved in that. But I'm considering doing that. And if you're using Dissolve Social Anxiety, it's still an awesome, great product. I still use it with my clients. In fact, I sent a module to my client the other day, a one-on-one coaching client. For the Confidence Mastermind, it's included, plus a bunch of my past programs, Social Success Secrets, Maximum Social Success, just trying to remember all the names here. So we'll see. We'll see what's in store. I'm pretty excited about it. So, and the Confidence Mastermind I'm excited about. So, yeah, that's it for now. And I will say for a lower price product too, Sean Cooper's system is cool. I like it. I like Sean. We're buddies, and I'd recommend him as well. Okay. It's some of the stuff is the same. It's different too because Sean is not a coach. He's gone through it. He's a teacher, but he's not a coach. He doesn't do coaching like I do. So that's also a main difference between Sean and I. I had a question on that the other day. Cool. So we're about a half hour in. If there's any other questions, and if you haven't asked a question yet, you know, go ahead and type it in the chat box. I'd love to answer and help you so we get to everybody that's here that wants to get answered. You know, if you're a little bit shy, if you're a little bit that, just go for it, man. This is the place to get help. That's why you came. Don't hold back. Ask your question, okay? No new ones coming in, so I'm just going to take them as they come. John asks again, how do you approach a woman without looking creepy? Ah, that's a good one. You just don't approach. No, I'm kidding. You you have to, well, I don't say you have to do anything. But what I recommend is you approach a woman like you approach a man. You be cool, you be chill, you be social. Okay. Um, I did a bunch of pickup stuff in the past, and yeah, you can do that. It's bold, it's daring. It's also, and I got to be honest, I'm learning some stuff from Brent Smith lately. He's amazing. Uh, he has a series called "How to Avoid Being a Creepy Pursuer of Women." It's so awesome, and that right in there is the pursuit thing. So there's this idea that we as men need to pursue. Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube. Um, there's this idea that men are going to need to pursue women, and it's just not true, and that we don't. Yeah, Brent stuff exactly. Um,
I was
the
just being specific.
Yeah, it's all good. Um, so the yeah, that's so even last night I was out talking to men, talking to women. There were a lot more men there than women. Um, and I was out earlier in the day, and it's just for me. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? That's it. If you're looking in the grocery store and all that, yeah, hey, how's shopping going? Now, without looking creepy, see, but your mindset too. See, if you're like, if you come up, you're like, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Right? That's fucking creepy. So instead of like, hey, how's your day going? What's up? More relaxed, chill. That's that. It's gonna. If you come in anxious, women pick that up, right? They're like, I don't know what's going on with this guy, but something's going on with this guy. And sometimes you can come in relaxed, and she's still going to be like that because she's anxious too, or she's a more reticent person. That's true too. So we have to take any personalization out of it, and that goes back to realizing we're projecting our own reality out, anyways, right? Either way, it's all projection from ours, just like it's all projection from hers. So the mindset is critical. Relaxation, relaxed confidence, natural confidence, all that stuff. But technique-wise, skills-wise, you want to keep it. I would recommend keeping it social instead of, hey, I just saw you over there, and I had, hey, I saw you over there. And look, I did this in the past. I got laid. I picked up girls in the streets of New York, whatever. But it's just this whole thing of like, do you want to be the hunter? Or do you want to be the king? Right? The stuff comes to the king. The hunter is constantly hungry and hunting. And actually, some guys prefer to be the hunter. To me, that just seems like more work and doesn't fit a lifestyle as much. It's more compartmentalized and separate. So you got to think on a deeper level. How do you want your life to be in terms of how you create your relationships with women, how you create relationships with friends, how you create your relationships with family. And I really recommend being unattached to the outcome and just enjoying yourself as much as you can in the moment, which I know can be hard, but that's all cleaned up in the mind anyways, right? Because there is no outcome out there fundamentally, potentially. I don't want to get too down the rabbit hole, but I'll leave it at that. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not as hungover as I thought this morning. That's good. Yay. um, Mr. N Bullying says, how to be the popular kid in front of your peers. Interesting question. Yeah. Well, there's two ways to answer this. I see it. One is to be. Okay. Let me see. In high school, I wasn't a popular kid. I was a big dork nerd for a long time. I'm still a big dork nerd, whatever. But I'm a cooler big dork nerd. And I like myself so much more. Love myself so much more. And when there was a guy named Ryan Sutter who went to my high school, and he actually won the Bachelorette the first time. He was on the Bachelorette, and he won it. So we were all freaking out when we saw him. He was super popular and one of the kindest more non-judgmental people that I had ever seen at that age, for sure. Really, like what you saw on that whole Bachelorette, like he was like that. I knew the kid. He sat in me in calculus class, or whatever. He was a jock and all that. I was a musician, misfit, and eventually I became popular within my own clique of artists, freaks, musicians, actors, right? But I was judging, of course, the popular people too. So, to be, first of all, you got to start liking yourself more, learn to love yourself, and let that carry out in your interactions with people. Be like Ryan Sutter, is what I'm going to say more than anything in that sense. And not that he's perfect, but just what I experienced of him was um, that. So, and the second is, don't even be concerned with about being popular. Concerned with that, be concerned with liking yourself, loving yourself, and being your best self that you can be, and let it take care of itself, right? Take care of overcoming the shyness thing. I know you said college 2 years, dream, social life in college, extremely shy. Yeah, you're going to have to work on overcoming that, especially through the mind. Behavioral too, you're going to have to go out and do things. You want results, you got to take action, right? You can't sit there and just believe you're the most amazing person and this and that, and then you don't go out and interact with people. But also, if we just go out and force ourselves all the time without working on the mind synchronously with the action, it doesn't integrate, and it doesn't get us as quick results. It doesn't get us a better experience, or the experience we're really seeking, because it's totally possible to like be a hermit, right? And stop caring about wanting to meet people. I have a teacher in my life, a martial arts teacher, who's very much like that. He likes us, but he's not too friendly to people. He's like, I don't like people. He knows what I do with social anxiety, but he doesn't consider he has it. And he doesn't, in the sense, because he doesn't care about connecting with people. You guys care about having relationships and connecting with people. That's good. I think it's good. I think it's better than being a hermit, personally. But every possible reality, perceptual experience is totally valid and legitimate, okay? Everybody is legitimate. Even you on this call, it's okay to be where you're at. There's no judgment here. But in terms of what you want to create and how you want to shape your life, well, that's a different story, right? That's why you're here. And literally changing your story about it in a more positive way as much as you can, and working on it every day, is going to help you more and more. Cool? Awesome. Any other questions here? I think there's a couple more people on, but not speaking up with questions. So what I thought I'd do, unless there's another one coming in from, is answer a couple I got from email the other day when I asked. So I've got my tablet here, being as technological as I can. And where's that label? Oh man, oh, wrong email account. There we go. So subscriber Q&A. I'm probably going to answer these in email too, but whatever, since you guys are here. Okay, so Michael asks, hi David, I respect your work with social anxiety sufferers. My question is, I know how to overcome social anxiety, or at least I know what path I should go. The problem is I have no willpower, no motivation, although I take antidepressant pills. That makes me sick more than social anxiety itself. What should I do? I'm really tired. Cool. Not a doctor, I'm not this, but if you just told me that these pills make you sick more than social anxiety yourself, why are you taking them? Why are you taking them? Not medical advice. Check with your doctor. Taper off or whatever if you want to go that route. I'm not saying, but you said it right there, right? And pharmaceuticals is the whole thing. I have a certain perspective on that. My perspective is that it's just my perspective, is that they don't know much about. They don't really know even how these work. These drugs work, if they work, if it's placebo effect because you give the power to the doctor and say, hey, you're a doctor giving me this. right? And I'm assuming it's an SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, which is an antidepressant usually. So you're telling me right there. So you're going to have to make a choice whether you want to go to some other medication, go off it, see a natural holistic healthcare practitioner, get your diet in shape, see if there's dietary issues. It sounds like you know how to overcome, you know the path you should go. Great. Get on that path. Don't wait. Start on that path. You have no willpower, no motivation. I just don't believe that. You are telling yourself that. You think that you are a person that has no willpower, no motivation, and I know you have it inside you because that's where it comes from, and you have a belief that's reinforcing it, probably in combination with these pills and stuff like that. That's what I'm guessing. Again, not medical advice. You choose what you want to do. You talk to your doctor, but it's your life, and you are the captain of your ship. Okay? I've had my health issues and experiences with it. And what I notice about doctors is they're trained to have the answer. And when they don't have the answer, there is no answer. And that's not correct. You have to find your own answer at the end of the day. And you have to take responsibility for your health. You cannot rely on the doctor. A doctor will never, they can help, they can assist, but they cannot fundamentally guide you. You have to guide yourself. And this goes obviously deeper than just taking care of your health. It's taking care of your life. You know, I talk about being the creator, not the victim of your life. Well, you're the creator either way. You're creating it right now. And you're creating from a sense of disempowerment and that you don't have control. And you do have control. You just don't see it yet, or you don't have as much conscious control. So you got to work on all that, you know, all the beliefs, all the mind stuff. You've got to work on that concurrently while, yeah, address your health, address your energy issues. Like I said at the beginning of this webinar, you got to do what it takes. Whatever it takes, man, to help yourself. You got to be your number one fan. No one else can do that for you. Even if they love you and they want to help you so much, we can turn away all the love and help in the world. Okay, good question, Michael. Let's see what else we got here. No other questions in the chat. I'm looking for a little longer ones. Sometimes I get some really short ones, and they're not as... Here's a good one. From Jessica, from a lady on the list. Hi, David. It's been said that it's wrong to say things like, it's not okay that I'm afraid of going to places. I shouldn't feel this anxious emotion. Why is it wrong when we have to learn to let go of negative thoughts and calm down? I know we should accept ourselves, but what I described above seems complicated to understand. Thank you. So it's not wrong. It's just that you're going to get a certain experience of your emotional reality when you say, I shouldn't feel this anxious emotion, when you're saying I shouldn't feel it in the moment that you're feeling it. But see, the emotion's coming from the thought, fundamentally. So it's... I was really overwhelmed the other day. I was just so overwhelmed, and I was trying to change my thoughts, and I couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, I just was like, I'm going to call a friend, and then it all resolved within minutes. That's the move I made. Talk about making moves. So one move to make is, I shouldn't feel this anxious emotion. And actually, when I'm feeling that anxious emotion, it's creating the anxious emotion. So it's okay to feel the anxious emotion. Can tend to have it resolve, but without trying to resolve it, because it's that thought generating it. That's what I see here. Okay. It's not okay that I'm afraid of going to places. Well, it is okay that why wouldn't it be okay? See, all mindsets, all states of being are valid. And so to me, when I see that, you're saying, well, no, it's not. But if you're experiencing that, it's valid in the moment. It is, because you're experiencing it. Okay. And so you're not okay with that. That's what you get fed back to. You get a experience of not feeling okay. And to me, like I said before with John, it's just a system telling you you're off track. The Titanic is headed towards the iceberg. Change course. by letting it go, by shifting the thought to, it's okay, I'm afraid of going to places. Or, you know what? I actually can see how I'd like going to places. I do like going to places. We want to spin it up more positively. Okay. Um, and why is it wrong? We have to learn to let go of negative emotions, thoughts, and calm down. That question, that part of the question, I'm a little confused by. Why is it wrong when we have to learn to let go? I don't see anything wrong with letting go of negative thoughts and calming down. And truthfully, there's fundamentally nothing wrong with holding on to your negative thoughts and staying anxious. See, that's high level shit. So you can see that, then you can pick and choose your version of yourself more when you can be okay that all versions are valid and equal. Okay, so it sounds like okay. You need to start working on acceptance and being okay with yourself, with everything. More than, I mean, you can shift the thought more positively too, but whatever you can do, if you want to do meditation, if you want to work on letting go of your thoughts, if you want to work on shifting and whatever. I know we should accept ourselves for what I described. Well, yeah, it seems complicated to understand because you're explaining it in a very complicated way. You explain it complicated, you get complicated. You experience complicated. I mean, I do it too. I'm making some things complicated in my business right now, and I'm just like, I keep thinking on them, and I keep ruminating on them, and they're not feeling any easier. So eventually I get to a point of, well, there's some way I'm thinking about this that's making it difficult, because there is no difficult out there. The difficult's in here. Okay. But awesome question, heartfelt. I love it, and a really specific one. So thank you for asking that very specific question. Thought my laptop went out. Cool. All right, no more questions from the chat. Let's see. Let's go with, okay, there's one more from Mr. N Bullying. He's getting a lot of good coaching here. Also, how to ask a question to a teacher or someone in front of the whole class. Is there any technique that can help with that? How to ask a question. See, I'm not going to answer that in the way you probably think I am. You're trying to figure out something for each specific scenario, and you'll never get over this that way. It's not gonna happen, dude. Sorry. You need to work on the mindset. You're trying to find a specific. You need to work on being calmer first. And right now you live in a hostile world. You've got to shift your mindset that you live in a more friendly world. I think I have a video on that. Is the world a dangerous place? Okay. If you watch the news all the time and you believe it, you're going to live in a scary, dangerous, hostile world. Okay? Because the news goes for that on the whole. But see, it's the same thing with the mind. I mean, I'll sit there at my office space and they have TVs on, and I'll start to watch it and go like this. I'll go, well, what am I doing? I'll turn that crap off because it's not reality. Yes, things like that happen, but they're telling a story around it, right? It's so awful, a dangerous, a blah, 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 right? They're coloring the emotional experience that we take in, okay? So it's a reflection of our collective consciousness more than anything. And you need to work on getting over this bullying thing, obviously getting over the shyness thing, and then come back to me and ask this question again when you're a little calmer. Cool? All right. So I think it's time that we complete this webinar. I said it would last about an hour, so we're about an hour, but it just feels like the time is right. Thanks so much for coming. Really pleased you showed up, and then we had some people show up. It was just something last night. I was like, I actually was going to do it last night at like 7 o'clock or something, and I was like, then we're going to miss people from the UK and stuff, and then I wanted to go out and stuff, so whatever. I'm glad we did it on the Saturday. I'm glad you guys showed up. Thanks for coming. And also check out the Confidence Mastermind. It's like socialexpression.net/mastermind. It'll take you to it, or there's a link here if you're interested in checking out applying for that. 6 guys, 6 months. confidence, success, working on all that, and like a kind of like a like-minded brotherhood of positive, progressive guys. Group coaching calls, some private calls with me, Facebook group, all kinds of stuff, man. If that sounds like it might be a fit for you, and I'm doing interviews and talking to a lot of people about it now too. So, and keep reading the emails here on Social Expression. Also, make sure to check out the YouTube channel if you're not subscribed. I'm doing videos at least once a week. I'm trying to do more because I want to get the word out through YouTube and really help people with all the free videos and grow that channel bigger and bigger. I just love doing the videos, and I love doing this stuff. So, and if you can share, if you like a video and feel comfortable sharing it, comment on them more than anything. I'd rather, even more than that, I'd rather you comment. I always get back to people with my advice and stuff in the comments under the videos. So I think I just had one come out, how to build a social circle from scratch, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Awesome. So thanks for coming to How to Beat Down Social Anxiety and Boost Your Confidence. This is David signing off. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'm complete. Hey, if you like this video and want more tips and strategies on how to overcome your shyness, social anxiety, self-doubt, and really build the confidence in your social skills, conversational skills as much as you can, up to the best you can be, so you can have the career success, the social circles and friends, the dating life that you want, all that and more, subscribe to the Social Expression channel by clicking on the subscribe button, and check out the other videos here that are on offer. This channel is all about helping you be the best guy that you can, like I've done for myself, and I really want you guys to succeed. So keep watching.